So today we're talking about why did I become self-employed? Really good question. And what was it like transitioning? A while back I came across one of those like inspirational images which said, if you don't build your own dream, or if you don't, invest time building your own dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. And that really struck home with me. I had also been going through this phase where I was wondering, what is my purpose in life? What am I doing for the good of, mankind, so to speak? I've always been a bit of a philanthropist, and I was a very ardent environmentalist at school and university and stuff. And working in investment banking, as I said, I loved my job. I will not lie, I absolutely love it. But I started to wonder where the greater good was in it. When I'm helping people make a lot of money, how is it benefiting my society? Like when you see somebody like a teacher, how do they benefit? Well, they teach the young people, so they're preparing the next generation. But how was I specifically helping? And it started to make me feel a bit, and I wanted to do a bit more. Of course, you may be asking me, okay, well, how does doing hair help your society? And I think it's because I don't just see this doing hair thing or, sister locks as beauty. It's not, to me, it's not something trivial. As much as people would tell you hair is just hair, it's just hair, it's gonna curl up or die, it's gonna grow back. I live with alopecia. I live with it every single day. I live with the fact that my hair may never ever grow back. So when you cut that hair, I don't always assume it's gonna grow back, because it might not. And what are you gonna do then? I have clients who come in and they have areas of hair loss. They have missing bits or thin bits or just issues with their hair. And for them, every day, it's not just hair. It is part of their identity, it's part of who they are, it's how they feel about themselves. It contributes to their self-esteem. And if you ever listen to my journey with, this alopecia thing, you will understand how much of a knock my self-esteem and my self-confidence took just by losing my hair, just by that. And you think, well, you didn't lose an arm or a leg or an eye, you can still do everything that you could do before, but it was a serious knock. So for me, hair isn't just hair, it's a lot more than that. So me working in the hair industry and developing products for hair care and actually maintaining people's hair and touching hair and that kind of stuff is a big deal. It's more of a ministry than just a job, okay? I do it because I love it. I could be earning a lot more money working where I was before. I did enjoy it. It was great. I didn't have to leave it, but I have left it. Why? Because I also love this and it's something that I'm passionate about. Touching hair, as I said, is just more than hair. You're feeding somebody's self-esteem. You're giving somebody an opportunity to feel good about themselves in a natural way. You're able to say what you come with, what you start with is enough. You are enough as you are. It's absolutely fine. I work with what you bring me and we'll make it beautiful. So that was one of the reasons. That's something I wanted to impart to young women, to men, to older women, that they're okay as you are. You're beautiful, what you have, all these gifts, your skin, your hair, everything. It's just beautiful and it's fine. It's okay. The holistic therapy side, well, again, that is a ministry for me. It's part of healing someone. Again, touch is so powerful in ministering to somebody's self-esteem again. And reducing stress, anxiety, aches and pains, improving circulation. I mean, I will do a separate video on the benefits of massage one time, because that's a long one. But it is that combination of, wanting to impart to someone, to touch someone and let them know, hey, you know what, you're cool, you're all right. It's all right as you are, you're okay. And being able to just help someone move into a position of balance, because you are most powerful when you're balanced. That's where your strength is. If you don't have to be limping, you know, you walk straight, you stand tall, you're brilliant. If your back isn't hurting you, these things, you can concentrate on what you need to be doing. If you're not worried about, oh, is my hair coming out, or is this bit looking funny? If you don't have to worry about all these extraneous things, then you are in the most optimum balanced position to do something in life, whatever it is that you're called to do. So that is my thing. Now, transition into self-employment, right? I wasn't made redundant. I resigned from my job. I planned for 2 years, I guess. I did my company at the same time. Like, I launched it and I did it in my free time, part-time. And then when I decided, you know what, I think I can actually make a go of this, I resigned from my job, and that was it. Some of the tips to being self-employed. When I started Almond and Avocado, I had 3 clients, and I had probably 3 clients for about a year. I mean, regular clients. There'd be people that might come and go, or you'd see them and not again, that kind of stuff. And I would say it was lonely, because a lot of people would be like, oh, you're crazy, you just left that big job where you're getting so much money, you had all your bills paid, blah, 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 and you have now stepped out and you're earning what? You know, you don't get that much money at all, and sometimes nothing in a month because you don't see the one client that you have. You know, it's kind of odd. And like, even my parents were like, are you sure? My mother-in-law was like, are you sure? You know, this is, you're putting a lot of burden on your husband to pick up the slack or to do something. And I will say, you know, when I was, you know, when I started, where I've mentioned my husband, yes, he would pay, you know, the mortgage, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't ask him, if you want to call it pride or whatever, I've never had to ask him for money to buy a dress or shoes or food or things like that. I always determined that I would always have my own. I've always had my own since I was like 16, 17, and I've never depended on a man or somebody else for something. So that was going to be one of the biggest like head knockers to get around becoming self-employed. Rent paid, yeah, you know, so we had to pay the mortgage. We live together, so obviously that's, we're married, that's a given. So I had the cushion of not having to worry about how, you know, my rent was going to get paid. For someone else who may be launching out self-employed, you may not have that cushion, or you may think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to rely on a benefit or welfare or something while you're growing it. These are things to think about and seriously consider, because you may be proud. You may think, I don't want to do it that way. So you either have to make sure that you are going to make enough money to cover your expenses right off the bat, or know that you're going to have to lean on somebody or something for a while, continue to work part-time or whatever until you can switch over to your business full-time. I would say you definitely need to plan. You know when they say if you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail, or whatever. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. That kind of funny saying. It's so true. You know, my business started organically because I had so many ideas, and you know, they weren't functional or curled into somewhere yet. But I knew that I wanted to be doing exactly what I'm doing today. I wasn't quite sure I was gonna get there, but I definitely knew that this is what I wanted to be doing. And I met with some business advisors, and I said, you know, can this thing work? Because you hardly ever see people marrying these two things: hair care, holistic, and products. You know, I suppose that's 3 things. But most people concentrate on one or the other. They're either like a hairstylist and they're the greatest hairstylist, or they are the product maker and they make great products, or they're a therapist and they're a great therapist. Now, how are you going to be all 3? Because you may have somebody call up and say they want, you know, an aromatherapy massage at the same time that you're meant to be retightening somebody's sister locks. How are you going to do that? And then, you know, your the part of your business that's just going to grow is the part that you're feeding or paying most attention to. And if you're paying most attention to your sister locks or your hair side of the business, the massage side is going to be, you know, it's going to suffer a bit. So how are you going to grow that? Just different things. It was like, oh, there's only one of me. There's so much that I want to do, but there's only one of me. So how am I going to like rationalize it and figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it and which order I'm going to do it in? Sitting down with a business advisor would be a really good thing because, you know, most of the time they're free and they're going to walk you through things like, okay, the basics, you know, financial forecasts and planning and cash flow statements and business plans and all those stuff, which I find kind of boring, but it's really important. Like if you do test trading, see whether or not you can generate enough income or you can sell enough units of product to actually be sufficient or to make any sense. When you try that, and you might see that you're actually going to be a bit more successful than you thought you would be. When we did our test trading period, it turned out that I was going to be a lot more successful than my husband had ever imagined. And it meant that going back to corporate life may not have to be, you know, a definite. It wouldn't have to be, yeah, okay, we can't live off of this. I have been very fortunate in that thus far in my business life, I have been able to make a decent living off of it, and my children are looked after, and that's not from my husband's money, that is from my money, and I'm quite happy with that. Taxes, you might want to get an accountant and get some good legal advice in terms of what would be the best structure for you. Should you be self-employed? Should you have a company? How do you want to do it? Plan. Think about what it is that you want to do, what makes you unique, and what your passion is, like where your passion lies. Think about that. Plan how you're going to do it. Think about your impact on your family, the impact of your decision on your family, on your finances. You know, are you going to be able to take that pay cut? Are you going to be able to depend on someone else or on a welfare service or whatever, or part-time job for a little while you're building this business? Prepare to do some hard graft. It's not going to come overnight unless you're, you know, amazing. Even Carol's daughter, it didn't happen for her overnight. It's something that you really have to work towards. It can take, you know, up to 3 years before you become profitable. So be prepared to go through some hard times before you reap the benefits and get the good times. A lot of people will see the glory and they don't know your story. So bear that in mind when you're on your way up. Just remember how people treated you and who was there standing with you, so that when you do get up, you remember to pull them up as well. And the key thing to remember is to believe in yourself. There will be days when you think, what on earth have I gotten myself into? Why have I done this? I need to just give up and go get a regular job like everybody else. And it's times like that that you really need to press in and hold on if you believe in yourself. And that self-belief will be the thing that carries you and your vision and your dream through to fruition. So hold on, don't let go, and believe.